What's happening, everybody? Good Sunday morning. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. It is NFL Sunday upon us. Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you guys. Any questions you may have today about particular games, particular players, go ahead and shoot them in the comment section there. It'll appear right on the screen. I'll do my best to get to any and all. Maybe a lot come in, and there's a couple I can't get to, but I'll try my very, very best. As you saw in the intro, real quick here, on a huge run for you guys, 9-2 over the last 11. That includes Thursday's games, mostly props, Dallas and Detroit, as well as the over that hit. I was 6-1 that day. Yesterday, I was 3-1. Unfortunately, I was off on the Indiana versus OSU game. Lots of chances in the red zone, and they just couldn't convert, missed field goal, and couldn't convert threes into sevens. And, of course, that makes a difference, 13-10. What a dud as far as the over. But overall, in the last 11, 9-2. I'll go over a full Sunday slate for you guys, and I got about 5 early game or early window prop picks for you. So I'll get to that in just a moment. Before I do, guys, upper right-hand part of the screen there, you'll see a QR code. Go ahead, take your phone, scan that. That'll take you to our YouTube page, and smash that subscribe button. If you are on YouTube or you are on Facebook right now and you're watching, go ahead and go to X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. Please go ahead and follow us. If you're new to the show and have never watched anything, all of our material goes up to X first. The majority of it, most of the material goes on X, particularly in-game tweeting, and then sometimes in-game bets, and sometimes added games throughout the day. They go on X. They do not go on Facebook. They do not go on YouTube. So at PB Sports Talks with an S, on X at the end there, scan the QR code. That'll take you to YouTube. Smash the subscribe button. A lot more shorts, behind-the-scenes content, a lot of information coming up to go up on YouTube as well as X. So, again, thank you guys for joining in. And also, please share the link, share the show with somebody. We're live every Friday night, 7 p.m. Our host, my co-host, Luke Fromm, former highly decorated top 15 high school all-star athlete from the renowned Warren de La Salle in Michigan. He was 2-time All-State, once in basketball, once in football. He played against Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, Dante Moore of Oregon, Ryan Hollins for the Milwaukee Bucks. So Luke has a lot of insight. He was a star quarterback. So we look forward to having him back next Friday. So Friday night at 7 o'clock, join us live. But hit that notify button, hit the follow button. That way you can stay locked in and in tune with everything that's coming up. You should be the first to know. And then, of course, please share it. All right, so before we get into Sunday's games here, and I try to add to the tally for you guys, interesting yesterday as the college football playoff picture becomes more and more clear. There's still some fuzziness to it. I just want to get this thought in there. And I've shared this on X a lot. A lot of people do not agree with me. And some say, oh, it sounds contradictory. And what do you play the game for? This and that. Listen, in my opinion, Notre Dame is without question the best of Alabama, Miami, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the best of those three. I know they lost to Miami 90 days or so ago. I get it. That's why you play the games. I get it. But if you're asking me, if I was on the committee and I was involved in making this decision, I'm interested in selecting who is best at this time to go represent their school in college football in the college football playoff. And man for man, or team versus team, coach for coach, Notre Dame is the superior team over Miami. And I think we all saw it last night. Alabama's just out of sync. Obviously, they don't have their running backs. They did not look good. They didn't fare well. Quite frankly, it was a relatively conservative game plan by Georgia. I think they could have extended that out. A lot of teams seem to be doing that lately. I don't quite understand why. Same with Ohio State. Ohio State's got weapons all over the field, and it's like they don't use them. I understand Georgia's defense, very difficult, very tough, but you have all-world, first-round, top 10 type draft picks at the wideout position, and you have a good enough offensive line, you have a terrific running back, and you have a really good young quarterback. Why are you not finding ways to get those guys to the ball? Why you got to take 5 to 7 step drops? Get the ball in their hands, in space, and let them cook. It's really simple, and sometimes coaches overthink it. I'm a longtime former coach, not football, but basketball. You can overthink things, and sometimes that overthinking and that overanalysis can really affect things, and you don't end up getting your team to perform at the level it needs to perform. And sometimes it's in the biggest moments like that. This vaunted Ohio State defense and this vaunted offense, you put up 10 points, okay? And sometimes you struggled against teams like Wisconsin and stuff to really let your weapons come through. I mean, that's on Ryan Day. Matt Patricia, oh my gosh, he's such a great defensive coordinator. You got all sorts of freaking players, all right? It's got very little to do with Matt Patricia, all right? Very little. You could put a lot of defensive coordinators in there. It really doesn't come down to Matt Patricia. That's just speak. That's pundit speak. Oh my gosh. Seriously, you might be able to go in and run the same type of defense. All right, enough of that. Let's get into today's action, which is why you guys are here. Let me pull this up on the screen. Let me get this up in a double, a good double way where everybody can see. All right. Yeah, I think we can still. Everybody can still see with the barcode there, the QR code. So we've got the Dolphins and the Jets, two very interesting teams. Those of you who don't know me, I'm from Detroit, but I currently reside in Florida. Just relocated to Florida about February of this year. My entire life spent in Detroit, born and raised, first 19 years, then relocated to the suburbs. So I'm a Lions fan, through and through for my entire life. And the Jets have Aaron Glenn, former defensive coordinator for the Giants. He's doing something very special. I promise you guys, not everybody can see it. A lot of people don't understand what he's doing with Justin Fields. He knows Justin Fields is not the answer. I mean, he never was the answer when they drafted him. Two-year contract of, I think it was $40 million, 20 and 20, right about there. And Tyrod Taylor, it just gives him a better. I mean, Justin Fields is not an NFL starting quarterback. It's just that simple. So the Dolphins, they're trying to hang on to Mike McDaniel. Obviously, they got rid of Chris Greer, the GM. They're playing at New York. This is a really, really tough game to handicap, to be honest with you. You got Miami going to cold weather. That generally affects things. You see the line there at 2.5. And by the way, these are FanDuel lines. They were pulled just before the show, maybe 10, 15 minutes before I came on. They could vary a little bit. You see the 2.5 at minus 122. That's likely to hit 3. As the odds there are leaning towards that. Guys, I'm going to go with an upset here. I really am. I like what the Jets are doing. They're relentless. They're at home. It's cold weather, colder weather. And I'm going to go ahead with an upset here with the Jets plus the 2.5. If you had the opportunity to get it at the full 3, obviously take that. You know, Miami can do some things and they could win this game by 7 to 10. It's a really tough one. But I'm going to go ahead with some of the momentum that's building over there and the excitement that's happening in New York. Neither team has a reason to win in terms of playoffs, but they all are playing for things for next year. Now, you could say Miami might have a shot outside, way outside. They're not. So I'm going to take the Jets plus 2.5. That's even money, obviously, at plus 100. If you can get that at 3, man, lock it in right now. All right, Seahawks at Atlanta. Seahawks are a juggernaut right now. They didn't look like it last week. I got it. They struggled. Blitz-heavy defense against Minnesota last Sunday. Had Darnold off his game a little bit, but you still won the game 26-0 when you weren't at the best, at your best. That always tells you what kind of team you have. The Falcons are in trouble. Kirk Cousins, while I like him, Michigan State product, the guy's been – I mean, has there ever been a guy in the NFL that's made more money moving around than Kirk Cousins? My man is a salesman, right? But Seattle at Atlanta, the line's a little beefy, but I expect the Seahawks on the fast track to kind of shred and just kind of roll through Atlanta a little bit like butter. So Seattle minus the 6.5. The Falcons, no real reason to play other than pride. So Seahawks minus 6.5 in that, minus 115. Try not to let it get past 7, in my opinion. Saints at the Buccaneers. Tyler Shaw, guys, Shaw, however you pronounce it, Guy's a player. He's a serious player. 8.5 plus 8.5. That's a lot of points. Tampa Bay's got everything to play for. New Orleans really doesn't have anything to play for. Again, pride, getting ready for next year, those types of things. But the Buccaneers have everything on the line in a bunched up NFC playoff picture. They got to get some things done. They got to win this game. They will win this game. The question is by 8.5. I mean, that's a lot of points. I'm going to go ahead and sneak here. The Saints, for whatever reason, you can look historically, anybody who's ever watched it closely enough, maybe you're a New Orleans fan, you're a Tampa Bay fan, or you just like to play the games, New Orleans, for whatever reason, always plays Tampa Bay tough. And I have a feeling that today's not going to be any different. So I'm going to take the Saints plus the 8.5. I'm usually a favorite, selector, but I got to go with the Saints here with the plus 8.5 to get things done. That's a lot of points. Bucks will win the game, but Saints will keep it inside the number. Washington Commanders, my guy Jaden Daniels finally returns. Good to see. Minnesota's an absolute train wreck, shipwreck, boat sinking, whatever you want to call it. 2 days before the 2024 draft, I selected Jaden Daniels as my number. It's all over YouTube. It's all over Facebook. It's all over X, that he would be the best quarterback of that draft. Obviously, Drake Mays turned out to be really good. Caleb Williams, I still don't believe in him. Bo Nix, I also selected as a superstar in that draft. And I selected J.J. McCarthy as the 1A to Jaden Daniels 1. It hasn't panned out yet. Don't give up on the guy. He will be fine. But I'm going to take the Commanders here, minus the 1.5 with Jaden back behind center. He might not run the ball a lot. Obviously, you got to get back in the flow of things, but just him being there is going to make a difference, and it's going to make those around him better. And I'll get to some of the prop picks and why I think that will affect some things here coming up when I'm done with the games. But Washington minus the 1.5 at minus 110. All right, Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville. I am on record and have been for many, many weeks that the Colts would hit the cliff 2 weeks ago. Kansas City, and then last week, Daniel Jones is all banged up. I don't think that team is as real as people for real as people have thought they are, which is why I selected them to kind of go down the tubes. I was on a national podcast, and they were trying to tell me at the time, this is probably about 5-6 weeks ago, oh, I see them as a 13-win team. Come on. That's not a 13-win team. They didn't play anybody except for 2 teams in basically their first 9 games. You see what starts to happen when they start to play some people. Jacksonville at home, that team is Duval. That team is pretty tough. They're inconsistent still, but they're pretty tough at home. I think Jacksonville's got that game. And historically, they've had a lot of close matchups, which the line reflects that here. Jacksonville at home getting a 1.5. I mean, 1.5, it's basically a money line play. But you got to take Jacksonville at home here to go over the Colts, in my opinion. Plus 1.5 at minus 106. So you're almost at even money. So take Jacksonville to take this game at home over the Colts. Colts to drop their 3rd straight game. All right, moving on here. The Steelers and the Ravens. If you have not seen my clip about Mike Tomlin, about Will Howard, about Aaron Rodgers, it's a 9-minute video. It's up on YouTube. It's getting a lot of play, and it's my thoughts on the Steelers as a whole. If you're a Steelers fan or you're just interested in what I think are the next steps and what should be happening this week, but they're not going to do it, check that out at PB Sports Talk on YouTube. So the Steelers plus 5.5 at the Ravens. Listen, the Ravens, and I have clips up there too about John Harbaugh, about Lamar Jackson, and my thoughts on Baltimore as a whole. These are 2 franchises that they're not a threat. Let me just put it to you that way. They're not a threat in the AFC. Either team, they're just not. Lamar Jackson, I don't even have in my top 8 quarterbacks. He continues to prove to me the reason why and validates the reason why that is. Aaron Rodgers isn't the answer. Pittsburgh is a disaster. DK Metcalf is not a true number 1 wide receiver. I talk about all those things on the YouTube video, so check that out. This is a rivalry game. It's 5.5 points. It's obviously a lot. But I think Baltimore responds here. I think Pittsburgh's cooked. They're just absolutely cooked. There's some infighting. Wide receivers aren't even running the same routes. They're on a different page than Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers with them. There's no continuity there. 5.5, you may say that's a lot of points. Standard home field line is 3. If you have 2 equal teams, it's a little bit more than 3. And I think that reflects, what the sharp bettors are looking at. So I think the Ravens minus 5.5 is the play here. They should win somewhere between 7 and 10 points. So I'm going to go ahead with that. Ravens minus 5.5. Tennessee and Cleveland, the Shedeur Sanders experiment. It continues to go on. Boy, if you don't know me, check out my thoughts on Shedeur Sanders. January 19th, I was the only person in the world on video, full receipts, to say that Shedeur Sanders would be a 5th-round draft pick. It's all over X. It's all over YouTube. Again, subscribe to those. You can go ahead and look at that. Cam Ward, obviously the parallels. As a lot of people say, Shedeur Sanders was a 5th-round pick and Cam Ward was number 1 overall. How could you say Cam Ward is better than Shedeur Sanders? And the Shedeur camp says, we're better than Cam Ward. And you see the famous video that went viral, the short that went viral during the combo, where Shedeur says to Cam, you want to cut a record? And Cam's like, no, I'm busy. And he says, you don't even take Saturdays off? I want to be known as a football player. And Shedeur was wanting to be known as a rapper and legendary and all that type of stuff. So interesting to see them play here. Listen, Cleveland is a better all-around team, better defense, more weapons. This is a tricky game. I would love to see Tennessee win this game outright and for sure win it by within the 3.5. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. I almost wish I was wrong. I don't want to tell you guys something and say, hey, at the same time, I wish I was wrong. I want to see Tennessee win this game outright. I'm not a believer in the Shedeur show. And if he should perform well today, it's going to start up all again. Look at Cam Ward was number 1. Shedeur should have been number 1. So as much as I don't like to do it, I got to say it because I want to help you guys. Cleveland minus 3.5 at home over Tennessee. The Bengals and the Bills. Man, I don't have the over-under up here, but I would seriously consider that. I would guess it's somewhere around 51. If you want to drop a comment on the side, it's probably 50, 51, right in that range. I would seriously look at the over on that, to be honest with you. Neither defense can stop anything, but offensively they can do some things. Such a shame Josh Allen's been surrounded by basically nobody. James Cook, obviously, in the backfield is solid. But other than that, Kincaid's nice, but one of the greatest quarterbacks of my lifetime, in my opinion. I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but it's kind of sad that they haven't put the weapons around him. Bills, minus 5.5, minus 120. You got to take the Bills there. That is 5.5, right? Let me just enlarge this here real quick. Yeah. Bills minus 5.5 is the play there. So moving on, we've got Denver and the Raiders. Oh boy, Raiders. The Raiders will gradually get better without Chip Kelly running the plays. And I think Brady's going to get more and more and more involved. I'm on record before the season that I don't think Tom Brady's going to stay in the booth long term. There's no way, especially since the team took a nosedive this year. I think everybody expected them to be much better than what they are, including me. I was very much against Ashton Genty being the 6th overall pick. That's a luxury pick for a team that is, a player or two away from winning. They're 15 players, 12 to 15 players away from winning. So terrible pick there. He may end up being pretty good, but wrong place, wrong time, wrong pick, wasted value for the Raiders when they have so many needs. Denver, love Bo Nix. I'm a huge Bo Nix guy, and that team continues to develop. He is significantly underrated. I'm going to go ahead and take the large line there in the Broncos minus 7.5 in Vegas over the Raiders. Jump on Nix, jump on Peyton. As you continue to see Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, and as a team defensively, Raiders won't have any answers for them. All right, Bears and Packers, obviously from Detroit. I don't like Ben Johnson. To be honest with you, I wasn't a crazy fan of him when he was in Detroit. That is a significantly overrated team. I understand what their record is, but I also understand how they won those games. It matters how you win. It matters how you lose. They had a lot of great fortune. I think that fortune ends today. Isn't it amazing So the line right there, when you want to understand what people really know around the world, around the country, around sports betting, look at that line. Why in the world would the Chicago Bears, without any massive new injuries taking place, be plus 6.5 at Green Bay? Why would that be when they're ahead of Green Bay? What in the world does that tell you? Is it a sucker's bet? I don't think so. I think, and I have thought, and I'm on record with this, that the Green Bay Packers, I said this before the season, it's one of the best teams in the NFL. Matt LaFleur is one of the best teams, one of the best coaches in the NFL. Things got a little sideways for them. I get it. You had Micah Parsons. That's a boost. Jordan Love wasn't playing well. They've had a lot of injuries at wide receiver. You're at home at Lambeau Field with everything on the line, division at stake. Bears in control right now, but the Packers just behind them. I'm thinking Packers, and I'm thinking probably by 10 or more. People will think I'm crazy for that. I'll take a lot of heat. And by the way, for those who are not following, follow, because I will have afternoon prop picks. That is one of the games that I have circled that I will have probably 3 to 5 prop picks on that game. So follow me throughout the day. Watch my live streaming or my live tweeting, live posting on X. I will be dropping some on that game. It's tasty. It's juicy. Packers minus the 6.5 at home, and make this creepy, cringy Ben Johnson at the end of the game, his post-game inside the locker room, pep talk or whatever, taking his shirt off. I don't think he'll be taking it off today. Green Bay Packers minus 6.5. All right, rounding it out here with the last 3. Rams and Cardinals. And boy, that let me see if I can get that off the screen there. Let me pop this off so you can see it. Maybe I'll just enlarge it. We'll see it. Nope. All right, just to make sure I don't make a mistake here, because that QR code is blocking it. What do we got? Sorry about this, guys. Rams and Cardinals 8.5. You could see the half there when I reduce the screen. Rams minus 8.5 off a loss, and they are playing at Arizona. Arizona's a disaster. I get it. Rams should respond very strongly today. I fully expect them to be on, back on. This is a must. Listen, things get really crazy at this time of the year. This is, in my opinion, is a must win for the Rams. They've got the Lions next week, a desperate Lions team going to LA next week. You don't want to lose this Arizona game, and I think they got to come out and get that stench out of their mouths from last week. I expect them to roll by 10 or more against the Cardinals, so feel very comfortable taking the Rams on the road. Jacoby Brissett, you got to give him credit. He's nails. He keeps that team in and around games there for a while, but too much talent offensively and defensively. The Rams will pull away in the second half. Texans at Chiefs. Boy, interesting game. Texans, dome-controlled environment, going on the road against Kansas City. Might be a slobber knocker type of game tonight. Did I really just use that word? Strike that from the record. That was crazy. That should be a slugfest because of the defense of Houston. Man, that is tough. I just think Kansas City can't be ruled out until Kansas City's out. It's just that simple. And again, you see the line reflective of that. Minus 3.5. 3 is the standard home line. You've got a really good defense at Houston. You've got C.J. Stroud back. You got the Chiefs at home, and everything on the line. It is win or you are done. I mean, even if you win out, chances are slim. You have to win out to even have a chance. As much as I would like to take Houston in this spot and take the 3 in the hook, I can't do it. The Chiefs minus 3.5 at home, laying it all out on the line, pull it all together. A champion is a champion until they're not. And the Chiefs, I'm not ready to give up on them. Love what DeMeco Ryans is doing in Houston. Can't do it. Chiefs at home, minus 3.5 on Sunday Night Football. Feel comfortable doing that. Mahomes will come up big. That's a heck of a defense. But that's a defense on the road, on grass, different than when they're playing in Houston. Monday night, the Eagles at the Chargers. Interesting game again. Eagles up, down. Sirianni is now going to jump into more of the play calling because they continue to struggle offensively as much as they have talent. It's like they don't have any talent. They're struggling to score. Is it offensive coordinator? Is it Jalen Hurts that doesn't have a pulse half the time? Is it A.J. Brown creating problems for the team and infighting going on? Could be a little bit of all of that. I am a Jalen Hurts guy. I like him as a quarterback, but sometimes, I wish he could just turn it up a little bit. Tough game here, but I got to take the Chargers. I am a massive Justin Herbert guy. I already have him penciled into the Hall of Fame, provided he does not have a massive injury. I said that before the 2024 draft as well, even though he wasn't in that draft. I said at the time, as I was talking about potential receivers because he didn't have weapons around him, that at that moment I felt he was playing Hall of Fame level. I haven't changed it. And they got problems around him. There's no question about it. But as they continue to figure things out with Jim Harbaugh, I expect him to come up big in this moment. The Eagles, they got exposed a little bit, and they're not going to be happy. But the Chargers, I got to take the Chargers at home on Monday night plus the 2.5. And it's like that Monday night home team, usually two relatively equal teams, it is almost always right on the 3 number. Interesting to see it at plus 2.5. Minus 112 would indicate it's getting closer to the 3. I'd love to wait on that for you guys and get it at 3 if you can. It may change. Could go the other way. I mean, do what you feel comfortable with, but I would try to get the full 3 there. All right, let's get to some props here. I'm just going to take this off the screen. I don't have the props on paper. I'm just going to verbalize that, or on the screen. I'm just going to verbalize that second here. Let me get my ugly grill back up on the place on the screen. All right, Trevor Lawrence, a guy who's inconsistent. I get it. Playing the Colts, as I mentioned, they're at home. The prop is 215.5 on his over-under passing. I don't quite understand why it's that low. It isn't like the Colts defense is a juggernaut. Again, at home, he's got a lot of weapons around him. And boy, Jacoby Myers makes a difference over there. Still got Brian Thomas. You got a complement of backs that he throws to. Parker Washington, he's got over 215.5. I think he breezes past that. Feel confident in Trevor Lawrence on the over. Bijan Robinson versus Seattle. Kirk Cousins can't move. Seattle has a terrific defense. They're going to be all over Cousins, even though it's on the road. I get it, but they're going to be all over Cousins. He's going to have to get rid of the ball. And what better player to get rid of the ball to other than Bijan Robinson out of the backfield? 35 or 38.5 is the over. Feel comfortable going over. He's probably 55, 60 yard range. Feel very comfortable with Bijan going over the reception yards of 38.5. Zay Flowers versus Pittsburgh. I am not a big Zay Flowers guy. I don't think he's a number 1 for any team. He's a number 2, basically a number 3, should be playing in the slot, but he acts as the number 1 essentially for Baltimore. He has been underwhelming all year long. However, in this moment at home against the Steelers, who are a porous defense, if you sustain the line enough to just keep TJ Watt from doing some crazy things, I would expect Lamar Jackson to be able to move around in the pocket and make some plays happen today against that defense. He won't be on his spot. He very rarely is on his spot. And I would think that Zay Flowers goes well past 57.5. I would expect him to be in that 75-ish range in receiving yards. So feel comfortable in taking Zay Flowers over 57.5 receiving yards. Chris Rodriguez, basically now the number 1 back in Washington. Jaden Daniels, as I mentioned earlier, is back. That changes everything. The entire framework. Mariota serviceable, clearly a backup, not a starter. We saw the experiment when he was a starter. He'd done a yeoman's job, kept him in some games, did some things, nice things. Jaden Daniels back. He's not going to be full-fledged game speed, but that read option threat there and the ability for Daniels to get the ball down the field to Terry McLaurin, to Deebo Samuel, Rodriguez taking over the rock, taking over the totes, over 40.5 for Washington rushing yards. Feel confident in taking Chris Rodriguez. He was a beast at Kentucky. And I really like what I'm seeing out of him. I would jump all over that 40.5 over rushing yards for Chris Rodriguez. And then rounding, these are all early games, by the way. And the last one, and I just, man, he's so overweight. He looks so slow. But again, with Jaden Daniels back, with McLaurin on one side taking away or taking, the focus of the defense, Debo should flourish today. He's got a very reasonable line at 40.5. Feel comfortable in taking Debo Samuels to surpass the 40.5 yard mark with Jaden Daniels back under center. So that wraps up the picks. That wraps up the early game props. Again, throughout the day, I will be dropping for sure at 3 p.m. I will be dropping the late games, but you may see it a little bit before, a little bit after. And then based on certain things that happen in Vegas with lines and things like that can change some of the game planning and some of the schematics. So stay locked in with me all day with tomorrow, and obviously follow and subscribe. The QR code upper right-hand corner. Scan that, smash the subscribe button on YouTube. Stay with me on that. The picks don't go up there, all right? All the shorts, long videos, things behind the scenes in terms of everything that I just talked about now, for sure in football and basketball and then other surrounding sports. You'll see a lot of stuff up there. I am a former 7-time championship basketball coach. I gave you Luke's credentials, my co-host. We're going to give you a different angle than a lot of people out there do. We're going to speak it to you in terms that make sense from a coaching lens, from a player lens, from a strategic lens. We try to do things differently than what you see out there, and we can articulate it in a way that's really going to hit home. Nobody tells us what to say or do. We don't have a narrative or an agenda to speak to. We're going to give it to you real. When we win, we're going to talk about it. When we lose, we're going to talk about it. On X is where everything goes first, at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end. That's where you will see everything go up live today, in-game tweeting, in-between game tweeting. You'll see things go up at about 3 o'clock for the midday games, or for the afternoon games, the 4:05 starts, the 4:25 starts, and then the late game tonight, you'll see that drop right around 7 p.m. Those will be all props. Obviously, I've given you the games. You might even see an over-under pick come in. As I feel things going throughout the day, I get really locked in. Let me just pop this up for you guys who maybe just joined on the screen. It's a 9-2 run for you guys. When I get like this, last year I won 17 in a row and 15 in a row. I did 11 in a row this year. When I go on runs like this, and even when you see it in college and pro, I'm more of a pro guy. But if you start to see it in college and pro, that tells you that I'm locked in. A lot of times I'll throw in a basketball game too. I did some recently, 3-0 or 4-1 on those. Really locked in, seeing it clearly. And be honest with you guys, I don't play these picks. And the reason I don't play these picks is because I can remove the emotion and I can give you picks based on logic, common sense, trends, patterns, intuition, gut feel, where there's nothing pulling me and saying, oh man, what about this? And oh man, what about this? I could just see it clearly, get to my decisions quicker. I don't second guess things. I'm not playing the picks. I'm giving them to you. So enjoy, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Please, if you have not, again, follow, subscribe, share with others, and we'll talk to you soon. I say this all the time. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is short. Thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Keep an eye out for those live tweets throughout the games and in between. Take care, guys. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye now, and good luck.